there, I'm Kendall McGuire, professional actress, and today I'll be speaking to you about drama techniques and body language. Well, as you know, body language is very important in truly good acting and communicating what you want in a scene for a play. All right, so let's say, for instance, a romantic scene, okay? Let's say you're uncomfortable with the other actor. Maybe he's not kind to you, or you just feel strange acting with him. Maybe he takes too much freedom in a scene or something like that. If you're really feeling your character, you gotta get close to him. You may have to do a stage kiss, okay? You have to convince the audience that regardless of your feelings for the other person, that you truly, passionately love this other person, all right? So that's gonna take acting. Well, that's why it's called acting, right? All right, so you need to get close to the person, and you really need to use your body movement to express whatever emotion that is, whether it's your arm around them or, there's all kinds of techniques you can use. Same thing with anger. Maybe you pop them on the shoulder, you slap them in the face, or, whatever with your director's approval you use to do. So do use your body movement as a drama technique to enhance your theatrical performance.
All right, it doesn't matter if this is a theater audition or performance. This could be an audition for television and film. This could be a performance on a major motion picture. I don't care what it is. This thing is going to improve your performance. And that thing is fighting for it. Actors need to fight in their work to get what they want. So many actors just say their lines and it gets them to the end of the scene. You say this, they say theirs, you say this, they say theirs. Eventually you get to the end of the scene, but there's nothing interesting or dramatic about it. And it's really about having that fight and that drive. You've got to be passionate about what you're doing. When I see actors in performances, I'm gonna lose interest almost instantly if I don't see a fight in their soul that they are passionate about, that's full of an emotional point of view. If I don't see that, you could say the lines all day long perfectly. You get every single word right. I'm not paying attention. I don't care. It's not interesting. It's not dramatic. It's not emotional. It's nothing. Story isn't coming through. You can only fight for something if you know what it is that you are actually fighting for. So you have to determine in every scene that you do what it is that your character wants. What do they desire? What do they need? And when you have determined that in your scene, fight for it. Fight for it. Around every corner, in every line of dialogue, in every movement that you do, fight for it. There's got to be something at stake. If you don't get it, something bad is going to happen. And if you don't have that figured out, again, you won't be able to fight for it. And you can't fight for something when you don't know what it is that you actually want. If you do this in your next script, when you look at it, in your next scene, spend some time thinking, what does this character want? What do they need? What do they desire? Most often it's through the other character that you're in the scene with. What do you need from them? Determine what that is. And fight for it. Like if you don't get it right here, right now in this scene, then it's over. And if you do that, this will improve your next performance. I guarantee it. Are you in a pinch to memorize your lines? Maybe you've got a big audition coming up tomorrow, or worse, you're showing up to set and you're still not off book? Well, this advice just might save your life. Or if nothing else, your career. How to memorize your lines fast. I have found that the easiest way, the fastest way to memorize lines is really not to try to memorize them at all. And what I mean by that is just to get somebody else to bounce lines back and forth with. Give them a copy. I don't care who it is. This could be your brother or your mom or your cousin or some rando that you found on Craigslist. Anyway, well, maybe not that one, but get somebody who can bounce lines back and forth with you. Read it flat. They read, you read. They read, you read. You go all the way through. If you do that like 15 times in a row, you're gonna have that scene memorized in 20 minutes and you didn't even try to memorize it. It is just going to happen. It's like magic. So suppose you can't find anybody, and I get it, we've all been there before. But there is a way. You still have your phone on you. What you can do is use the recording app. Say the other character's lines out loud. Say your lines in your head. And then you can play that bad boy back. That's going to serve the same purpose. There's also some apps out there that you can purchase or use that give you that same feature. That's the best way, the easiest way. Memorizing lines is such a chore. I hated it. I still hate it. But if you can do it fast and efficiently without even realizing that you're doing it, it's going to be a lot easier. Otherwise, you got to do the painstaking way of memorizing one word, one line at a time. Okay, so you just got the big audition that you've been waiting for. What can you expect? Most likely, in that audition notification, you will have received a few items that are going to help you prepare for that audition. One, they're going to attach sides to the audition. The sides are what they have pulled from the script that they are going to use as the audition material. That could be a page, that could be a single line of dialogue, or that could be several scenes, maybe 6 to 8 pages for a theatrical audition. In addition to receiving the sides, more likely than not, you are going to receive a character breakdown. And that's going to be a description of your character and how they fit into the story that we're trying to tell here. There might be a storyline as well to kind of give you some situational awareness with everything. In addition to that, they're going to tell you where to go and when to show up. Now, once you actually get to the audition, I would definitely recommend arriving early. Not arriving early like going into their office and sitting there for an hour, but get there early, probably an hour early, and just be in your car. That's going to be a time where you can kind of calm down a little bit, go over your material, know and see the door that you're going to be walking into so that we can kind of start to calm everything down before we actually walk in there. Then about 15 minutes prior to your audition, then go ahead and head in and sign in. Generally, they're going to be calling actors into the room in the order that they are signed in. If not, sometimes they go off of your call time, so be prepared for either one of those. In the actual audition room when they call you in for a first call or what would be like a pre-read or first audition, sometimes it'll just be the casting director in there. Sometimes it can be a casting associate. Sometimes they'll put it on tape, sometimes they won't. Generally for like a film audition, it will be put on tape because they're going to want to review those tapes and put them up against each other. They start at the top in the leads and they start to cast down from there. For episodic, generally things move so fast that a lot of times they don't have time to record. Within 1 week, 2 weeks, they could cast an entire episode, and so it can just move a lot quicker. In a callback scenario, you're probably going to have a director and maybe producers that are there in that particular session. If it goes to a second callback or a network call or screen test, sometimes you can have up to 25 people in that room, and that's where the nerves are probably going to be the highest because it's all the most important people in that room watching your final audition. When they get into the material, back into the process, they generally, if it is on tape, they're going to have you do a slate at the top of that. That information could include your name, agent, height, where you're located, and sometimes they want to know that stuff for local hire purposes. And then from there, they're going to go right into the material. You're going to slate directly to camera, just like I am now, and then you would shift over and read with the reader. And you go through each scene. Most likely, if we get through that, they're probably not going to say anything but thanks for coming in, and you're going to walk out the room, and that's going to be the end of it. If it goes further than that, they might give you a redirect on a particular scene or have you do an additional scene in the audition room. So just be prepared to take that feedback and really kind of digest it and think about it before going into that next take. Occasionally, you might have your resume or they might have it already printed out. And they might actually ask you some questions off of that, like, oh, you worked on this project, how was that? Yeah, I know the director and blah, 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 and there'll be a little bit of chit-chat there with that. Most likely that's probably not going to happen in a first call, so you can almost just expect to go in there without a ton of chit-chat, get right into the material, and when that material is over, basically you're on your way out at that point in time. I wouldn't try to get into any conversation with the casting directors. They really don't have time for it at that point in time, and it's really not the time or place to do that at a first initial audition or pre-read. If you get into a callback, they may be more friendly, they may talk to you a little bit more, and that may increase as you get further in the casting process. But for the first audition, I would plan on just having no chit chat at all. Go in there, do your best, and then go on out. If you get a call back, they'll let you know. That's really what you can expect for an in-person audition. Most of them are going to go exactly like that. So there's really no surprises that they're going to hit you with in the audition situation. Most auditions today are actually self-tapes for the first initial call or the pre-read. And that means that you are at home going to be putting that tape on yourself and doing that audition and emailing that in.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex Ford. This is Scott McPherson.
Hello everyone.
We have known each other for a very long time, and Scott is going to help us with some improv. Scott, what you got for us today?
This game is called Yes And. It's a very simple game. We're meant to work on the fundamentals of improv. It's not really meant for a show, but you could use it in a show depending on the situation. But basically how this game works, I'm going to divide the class into two groups, okay? So there's two of us, and we will get into a line, basically a column of people, so we'd all be, in the line together. Each of us have a partner. What's going to happen is, let's say I'm the A side, you're the B side, okay?
Always.
A side is going to start. They're going to give the B side a prompt. For instance, let's go on a treasure hunt, okay?
Okay.
Now, the person in the B line is going to accept the information by saying yes.
Got it.
And then they're going to respond with an and. Now, this is going to add information to the original person's idea. That way, the person accepts it, and then now there's a new information to go on and build the scene larger, okay? So, for instance, I want to go on a treasure hunt.
Yes, and I brought the periscope.
So the point of this game is, you never want to say no to your partner's idea. And for instance, want to go on a treasure hunt?
No.
Boring. The scene's over and there's nowhere else to go. And also, by adding the word and, when you and information, and I have brought the periscope, you invent a whole new world of where you can go. And you also support your partner's idea, and then you build that foundation. And if each one of us are supporting the other, we're going to build a much better story than just, if we just never add information to the story.
Right. So if I had just said yes, then the pressure is still on Scott to keep going. He had a great idea. Let's go on a treasure hunt. And I go, yeah, I'm now the complete follower, and he is taking over. He may not be ready for that give and take.
Now, this game is easy for the prompter to start asking questions. Do you love me? Do you want to go to the park? Which is fine, but the questions need to have information in them. Remember what Mother said last night?
Yes, she said that I was her favorite son.
Excellent. See, that adds a dynamic to us. It adds relationship and it adds information. So it's okay to ask questions as long as they're done in the right manner. Okay? So we're going to play yes and. It's not a very long game. Basically, I'll start, Alex will respond, and we'll do this 5 times to simulate more than one person, okay? And then we'll switch, and then you'll prompt, and I'll just say yes and.
Quick clarifying question.
Yes.
So if we're going to keep going, even if there were people in the line, are we going to keep the same story going, or are we going to change every
That's a great question. It's going to be a different each time, each story. So as soon as Alex and I have our exchange, we're going to go to the back of the line, okay? And then there'll be 2 new people at the front, and they will have a totally new scenario, okay? Do you like this fried chicken?
Yes, and it goes well with my fried allergy medicine.
Excellent. So it's a perfect example. So again, that's a great question. New story, and there's very quick. Don't dwell on this very long. There's no need to make up forever. So just don't think about it too much, and then let your partner say yes, and then respond to that information. Okay. So for instance, we'll do this 5 times, and we'll switch. Okay. I found this old buried treasure.
Yes, and I found the shovels.
Excellent. So now we're gonna go. Cool. Back to the line. New people. I found Grandma's wig.
Yes, and I found Grandma.
Doctor, the results are in. They're very scary.
Ah, yes, I think they're scary too.
All right, we got 2 more times.
All right.
Son, I'm giving you this inheritance. Don't use it wisely.
Yes, I think I'll invest in Blockbuster.
They won't get that joke. That's okay.
I think I'll invest in Vine.
They won't, TikTok. There you go.
Well, but that's still going.
Okay, I see. All right, last one. Your shoes are made of garbage.
Yes, and they need to be taken out.
Very good. So as you can see, it's very quick. It's very silly. There doesn't need to be a whole lot of information given as long as the scene progresses. Okay. So now we're gonna switch. It'd be the B turns. The B
turns.
The B line would start, and I would respond. Okay. So B starts, and then A's would respond with a yes and.
I found the best toilet in the world.
Yes. Show me where it is so I can use it right now.
I don't know why I keep wanting to. Man, this line for groceries is forever long.
Yeah. So I'm gonna crop dust it.
Sir, I found the beard trimmer you were looking for.
Yes. I've been needing this for my wedding. Yeah.
Again, I can't help but not go to the back of the line. I'm like trained to go to the back of the line. Okay. Mr. Dentist, do you think my teeth are the best teeth you've ever seen?
Yes, and I'm gonna steal them for later.
No! One more?
Last one.
Last one. I think that I have your glasses.
Yes, and now I have yours. All right, so as you can see, that's yes and. It's very simple. It's just responding to information with a positive attitude. Yes, I will take this information